I put in so much effort, but it never seemed to make a difference. My sister Daisy hardly did anything, yet she always won all the awards. People would say I could never be as good as her. I started to think they were right, that I was just not smart and would never amount to anything. That was until I discovered she was using something called a life swapping system. All her success, she had actually taken it from me. Because of this, I started thinking, what's the point of even trying? I might as well just give up. Penny, memorize this speech perfectly and you'll do great tomorrow, Daisy told me, looking very serious. I promised her, I'll make sure I learn it. I didn't see how excited she looked when I said that. I know you'll do great. That night, I stayed up late, trying to memorize every single word of the speech. The next day, at the school assembly, the principal asked me to come up and speak. I walked to the microphone, but the moment I was supposed to start, my mind went totally blank. I couldn't remember anything. I just stood there, looking at all the people in the audience, and I hated myself. Why was I so terrible at everything? Why did I always fail, no matter how hard I tried? Right then, Daisy went up to the principal and offered to help. Principal, my sister seems nervous. I can give the speech for her. Go ahead, the principal said, looking at me with disappointment. My sister got the chance to speak because of me. Our parents are very strict. They always pushed us to be successful and popular. Daisy was naturally good at everything. She had lots of friends and always got perfect grades without even trying. But I had a hard time. I was shy, not very smart, and basically invisible. Daisy had tried to help me. She talked the principal into letting me speak at the assembly, hoping it would give me some confidence. But I messed it up. I knew I would be the laughingstock of the school the next day. Watching Daisy give the speech so smoothly, looking so confident, just made me feel even worse. Everyone already thought I was a failure. After her speech, Daisy found me and asked, "Are you okay?" I just shook my head and asked, "How did you memorize the whole speech?" "Don't you remember?" she said. "I just looked at it once and I knew it." Hearing that, I realized how different we were. I had spent all night memorizing, only to forget everything instantly. But she could hear something once in class and remember it perfectly. I would study so hard before tests, but my mind would go blank during the exam. She would get perfect scores without even studying. With the violin, I practiced all the time, but on stage, I would forget everything and make a fool of myself. But Daisy hardly practiced and still passed the highest level exams. She even got to play in a concert in the city. It was like we were complete opposites. She got all the talent, and I got nothing. Even my mom would say, "I wish I only had your sister." Daisy held my hand and comforted me. "Don't worry, it was just one mistake. If you keep trying, I'm sure you'll make Mom and Dad proud, Penny." Daisy really cared about me. She was always there to comfort me whenever I failed. I was thankful for her. She was the only one who had always supported me. I nodded, feeling grateful. "I'll try harder, so I won't let you down again," I told her. She smiled. "That's the spirit. Never give up, no matter how many times you fail. That's my girl." If I had been more observant, I might have noticed something sneaky in her smile. But I trusted her too much to suspect anything. Her words had a hidden meaning. After another bad test, I hid in the bathroom. I might not have been the absolute hardest worker in class, but I was close. Still, I always ended up with the worst grades. My mind would just go completely blank during tests. I was crying, looking at another empty test paper, when two girls came in talking. "Penny is so dumb, right? Works so hard and still fails every test," one said, laughing. "Totally. I mean, if you're not studying at all, okay. But she tries so hard and still ends up at the bottom." "What a joke," the other agreed. Their laughter filled the bathroom. Then I heard Daisy's voice from outside. "My sister isn't dumb. She just gets really nervous and forgets," she said. Relief washed over me when I heard her. It was like a lifeline. The two girls quickly left, not wanting to argue with Daisy. I was about to come out and thank her, but then I overheard something that made my heart stop. "System, why is my sister so stupid? If she knew all her hard work was just being swapped to me, I wonder how she'd feel." It was Daisy's voice. I didn't actually hear those words with my ears, but somehow at that moment, I could sense what she was thinking. Just like that, I understood how real the life swapping system was. All her encouraging words over the years suddenly seemed fake, just a way to use me. My heart sank. System swapping, I get it now. Memories came flooding back. There was a time when I used to get much better grades than her, and studying felt easy. Back then, she was the lazy one, always getting in trouble with our parents. Then, one day, everything changed. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't succeed anymore, and she became the perfect daughter. In that moment, everything became clear. Daisy had connected with a system that could take everything I worked for and give it to her. Basically, she could easily get everything of mine. How unfair. I suddenly remembered the school assembly. I wasn't supposed to be on stage. Daisy had arranged that chance for me. But in the end, I was made fun of by everyone while she saved the day and took all the credit. Sis, you're ruthless. Of course, I know how crazy all this sounds. The idea that a system exists and can be linked to someone is just insane. It's all ridiculous. I decided to test Daisy to see if my guess was right. The next day, I pretended to pay attention in class, but I didn't actually learn anything. I kept singing the Three Little Bears song in my head. By the time the afternoon quiz came, my brain was filled with nothing but that song. Then, the test started. As expected, when it was time to answer the questions, I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't even remember the Three Little Bears song I'd been singing all day. But unlike before, when I faced these problems, I didn't feel ashamed or sad. I was actually happy. Sis, I hope your head is filled with that song now. Let's see how you do on the test. For us high schoolers, tests are normal. Like always, this test was just for us to check our own understanding. We graded our own papers. No one knew how anyone else did. After the test, I saw Daisy sitting in front of me, gathering her papers, looking like she didn't want to look at them. I looked away, waiting for her to tell me to study harder. As I expected, during break time, she came to me. "Penny, are you feeling any pressure?" she asked. "You're actually great. You're just at a stuck point. Once you get past it, you can achieve anything," she said. "Focus more on studying and less on music." Her voice had a hint of frustration. My heart turned cold. So I was right. She really did connect to a life-swapping system. I used to trust her completely, doing everything she said, thinking she was helping me. Sis, how could you be so mean? After understanding this, I made a strong decision to fight back. If you use the system to ruin my life, I'll make you pay using the same system. After sports day, we both had performances. Daisy had set that up for me too. She came to me holding my hand. "Have you decided what you were going to perform?" she asked. I nodded. "Yes, I'll be dancing a classical dance." I have worked hard my whole life, learning violin, practicing on stage whenever I had time. I was busy learning different skills. Daisy was the one who encouraged this, saying skills never go to waste. So I joined many classes. I was dedicated every day, yet never got any certificates. Meanwhile, Daisy, who joined in half-heartedly, was winning awards. I didn't understand then, but I do now. She smiled. "Classical dance sounds great. I'll do the same then." To steal my success, she had to choose the same performance style as me. I grinned. "Sure." I spent those days frantically practicing square dancing instead, whenever I could. Before the performance, Daisy hadn't practiced classical dance at all. I was at home, pretending to practice, dressed in classical clothes, but practicing square dance. The day before the performance, she asked, "Penny, how's the practice going?" I nodded. "Great, never felt better." Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Really? That's awesome. I'm sure you'll amaze everyone." Someone would definitely stand out, but it wouldn't be me. On the day of the event, colorful lights filled the stadium, adding to the excitement. Daisy and I both stood backstage, in classical dance costumes. James came over. He glanced coldly at me, then turned to her. "Sophia, good luck with your performance." Sophia smiled softly. "I will." Then, as if just noticing me, he pulled me aside, clearly annoyed. "You're still trying? No improvement all these years. Aren't you embarrassed?" he said. "Only your sister is nice to you. I love your sister. I plan to tell her tonight. Don't get in the way." James had been my childhood crush and one of our childhood friends. As kids, we'd play house and call each other husband and wife. But after my sister connected to the swapping system, his feelings toward me changed. He no longer liked me. In fact, he started to dislike me, while growing to like my sister more. I used to be confused. I'd always been there for him, defending him when he was bullied, taking hits without complaining. I'd comforted him when he had family problems. Yet he didn't remember me, but he did remember her. Now, I finally understand. The swapping system made it so the more I did for him, the more he liked her. I told him, "Don't worry, that won't happen anymore." Then it was my sister's turn to perform. She stepped onto the stage. The lighting became soft, and the music turned gentle. In her classical dance dress, she looked like a beautiful painting. People gasped. Sophia really did look amazing. The crowd, including those around me, couldn't help but whisper how great she looked. Then she started dancing, and everyone froze. "What is Sophia doing? Is she crazy?" Everyone looked shocked as Sophia started doing a square dance on stage. She was dressed for a classical dance performance, with classical music playing, and yet there she was, dancing a square dance. I glanced at the school officials in the crowd, and they looked really unhappy. This event was a big deal for the school, with board members watching. If she were just having fun, that would be fine. But in this setting, it was totally inappropriate. Sophia looked embarrassed on stage, like she wanted to stop but didn't know how. I chuckled a bit. "Sis, that's the beauty of our life-swapping system. When we swap, I lose all my memories, and you have to follow my memories and dance." Those 3 minutes on stage were probably the most awkward 3 minutes ever. After 3 painful minutes, Sophia hurried off stage. She didn't talk to anyone else. She came straight to me. "Penny, what have you been practicing lately?" She's never spoken to me this seriously before. I guess she couldn't hold back anymore. I played dumb and replied, "Square dance, why?" Sophia gritted her teeth. "Why square dance? It totally doesn't go with classical dance." I nodded. "I know, but I'm not the one performing." I had withdrawn from the performance long before the event started. I smiled at my sister and said, "Sis, I think I'm just useless. I can't learn anything. No need to encourage me anymore. I won't try hard from now on." Hearing this, Sophia's face visibly darkened. "Penny, that's not true. You're just nervous. Once you get used to being on stage, you'll get the hang of it." She seemed more worried than I was, as if my lack of effort would ruin her future. Suddenly, another idea popped into my head. She's been messing with me long enough. Revenge shouldn't hurt, right? With that thought, I smiled. "You're right, sis. I shouldn't give up on myself. I'll work hard." Hearing this, Sophia finally relaxed. "Sophia, what's wrong with you today? Why the square dance?" The principal walked over and asked her, "You're the star of our school, performing a square dance in front of the board members. You know how disappointed they were, right?" Sophia apologized through gritted teeth. "Sorry, principal. I thought it would be funny. I won't do it again." "That's not how you make things funny." The principal took a deep breath, patting Sophia's shoulder. "Sophia, we have high hopes for you. Don't let us down." He then shot a disapproving glance at me. "Don't follow your sister's example. You two aren't the same." "Indeed, we aren't. At least I don't steal other people's achievements." James was planning to confess to Sophia, but he's nowhere to be seen now. Did the sight of his goddess doing a square dance scare him away? I smiled at Sophia. "Sis, don't be too upset. Even though a square dance in classical clothes might not fit, your dancing was great. You'd still be the center of attention at any square dance, really." I nodded. "Of course. When have I ever lied to you? There will be plenty more chances to shine in the future, so don't worry about this one incident," I said, and Sophia seemed to feel better. "It's just a mistake, and there's plenty of time to fix her image." After learning that we were linked by the life-swapping system, I started slacking off. I barely talked to classmates, ignored teachers' lessons, and filled my head with TV shows and novels. I worked on memorizing famous movie scenes and lines. Because of my actions, Sophia's grades started slipping. She'd get anxious every time she got her results back. But since small tests are graded by students themselves, classmates and teachers didn't notice anything strange. But with the midterms approaching, Sophia finally couldn't take it anymore. She approached me again and asked, Penny, are you slacking off lately? Me? No way, I replied, pretending to be guilty and scared. Really? This whole time you've just been watching TV, right? Watching and memorizing it just to mess with her. I'd watch a scene 10 or 20 times. The moment I hear music, my mind plays it like a movie scene. Sis, how did you know? I've seen it. Your grades are so bad. How can you keep playing around? Why not? I can't get better no matter how hard I try, so why not have some fun? Her face showed pain, silence. She was worried I'd give up on myself, so she tried to calm me down. That's not true. Hard work pays off. What else would you do without trying? You can't just give up. You're still so young. She grasped my hands tightly, looking so worried, asking, Okay. I hesitated on purpose before nodding. I will. Don't worry, sis. Soon enough, it was time for the midterms. I acted like I was studying hard, but I was really watching shows nonstop. Recently, I got into short dramas, so dramatic yet catchy. I practiced their dialogue every day. I got into character. In such a state, I walked into the exam room. I always ended up last, so why bother trying? I just gave up. I wondered how Sophia felt with all those cheesy quotes filling her head. After the exam, Sophia looked more upset than ever. She approached me directly. Penny, didn't you say you have been studying hard recently? I nodded, saying, Sis, I really did study. My voice still sounded shy, and I answered her in a sad tone. You say that every time, but you never study seriously. I went quiet. Now it was obvious Sophia was more worried than I was. She was on the verge of losing it. Penny, what's it going to take for you to actually study? I still didn't respond. Sophia could see it. It was clear I just didn't want to study and was ready to give up. She was anxious and kept pushing me to study, saying if I didn't give up, I'd eventually get good grades. I laughed. Sophia, are you just scared that if I keep messing around, your grades will drop from top of the class to the bottom? Why don't you just leave me alone? James overheard our conversation and came over. Sophia, why do you even bother with her? She's not worth your attention. He sneered. She's destined to be a nobody, working herself to the bone with no real progress, not even good enough to polish your shoes. If it were before, I'd be upset or hesitate. Not now. I slapped James right across the face. Sophia and James were stunned. Penny, what are you doing? I knew why Sophia was so upset. It's because we had swapped lives. Whatever impression people had of me would eventually become their impression of her. I hit James, and he should have hated me, but after the swap, that hatred would now be directed at Sophia. So, Sophia was panicking. I blinked. Sis, he insulted me first. You're my sister. How can you let him talk to me like that? Sophia had never rejected James directly, probably because of his status. He was popular at school, came from a wealthy family, had good looks, and, most importantly, he was smart, always competing with Sophia for the top grades. To everyone, they seemed like a perfect couple. Sophia kept him interested, loving his attention. Now that she knew hitting him would hurt his opinion of her, she couldn't help but try to calm him down. James, are you okay? Let me see how badly you got hit, she said, forgetting we had this life swap system. Everything she was doing was just benefiting me. Sure enough, James angrily pushed her hand away. And none of your business. Who do you think you are? Stay away from me. You make me sick. Sophia was stunned, shocked as she looked at me. Sophia, do you see the downside of the system now? You can only swap with someone better. If they're worse, your life's a wreck. After the midterms and the incident with James, I think Sophia finally understood. It was like I planned to completely give up. I started ignoring everyone around me more and more. Since people disliked me more and more, due to our life swap system, they ended up disliking Sophia instead. When she lost all her popularity, she tried harder to please them. In turn, people's attitudes towards me improved. Now, it was Sophia's turn to have problems. She finally couldn't take it. When she came to me, her expression wasn't of concern anymore. No, now it was just disgust. Penny, how much longer are you going to keep this up? At this point, I wasn't about to continue any pretense with her. Sophia, why does it matter to you if I'm slacking off? Before, I had never called her by her name. She knew very well what I meant when I called her that. Surprised, she widened her eyes, then she went on. Penny, I'm doing this for your own good. You can't just keep slacking off forever. What are you going to do when you grow up with no skills to rely on? I laughed. If I tried hard, you'd only get the rewards. What I do has nothing to do with you, right? So don't bother worrying about me. I locked eyes with her and asked, though I am curious, sis, why are your grades changing so much lately? Last time you even scored last in the class. Sophia looked away, saying, I wasn't feeling well that day. Even though I stayed, I didn't do my best. Is that what you told Mom and Dad too? At that, Sophia frowned and glared at me. What do you mean by that? Don't pretend. I know you're linked to the life swap system. My sister's face was full of shock, looking at me in disbelief. What are you talking about? Life swap system? I don't know anything about it, and my expression didn't change. I looked at her coldly with a smile. If you don't know, that's even better. Anyway, I'm done trying hard. Before every test, I'm going to play those silly tunes, so you can't write a single word. Sophia's face looked as bad as I expected. Sis, I'm going to totally slack off. You know, I don't care about being looked down on, but you're so used to everyone's praise and suddenly losing it. I wonder if you'll break down. Just then, a classmate came out from the back, seeing me and Sophia. Lately, Sophia was nice to her, so she was nice to me too. She even smiled and said hi to me. I just rolled my eyes and gave a slight scoff, noticing Sophia's face turning colder. Why are you acting like this? You can't. Who even cares? I headed to the office. Oh, where are you going? I turned back to her with a smile. It's getting late, almost time for class. I'm going to go have a chat with the teacher, really work on getting him to dislike me. Sophia pulled me back immediately. Penny, stop right there, she snapped, clearly embarrassed and angry. Even without that life swap system, I'm still better than you. What makes you so defiant? I let out a cold laugh. Shameless people are undefeated, Sophia. Even so, you're just going to have to deal with it, I whispered, getting closer. I'm going to start paying back what you did. Watch out. Sophia went pale, like she'd never seen me before. Over the next month or so, Sophia's grades kept dropping. I started ignoring the other students, and they began ignoring Sophia too, isolating her, just like I was back then. One day, during gym class, after getting cornered by a group in the bathroom, she took a week off. Oh, sister, so you do know how it feels to get cornered in the bathroom. Even if you'd been nicer to them, they wouldn't have bullied me, but you weren't. And you even encouraged them to humiliate and target me. You stole my grades and tried to push me into a deep, dark place. Tell me, how could I let you off so easily? I returned home. The atmosphere was gloomy because Sophia's grades were tanking. What's wrong with you two? How did I end up with such useless daughters? Mom kept insulting me. I'd long been used to it, but obviously Sophia wasn't. Mom, I just messed up this once. I'll do better next time. I sneered from the side. Sis, you didn't do well. Sophia shouted, Penny, just you wait. I'll get everything back. She slammed her bedroom door behind her. The next morning, she came over with confidence, saying, Penny, you keep going down that path. Then she left. Watching her walk away, I suddenly realized something. I ran back to my room and practiced a song. Then I went to the park and played it. Nothing stopped me. The life swap system was gone, and I could finally achieve success through my own efforts. But by then, there was only a month left before the college entrance exams. Sophia started off by leaving early and coming home late, but after 2 days, I didn't see her go out at all. Even at school, she looked lifeless. I sat behind her, observing everything. She had no clue what I was up to. She didn't know I was secretly working hard, even though I never did any of the practice exams. Years of effort don't lie. Her chronic laziness had wasted away her initiative, and I saw the teacher sigh every time she was unable to answer their questions. They must have thought Sophia's intelligence had vanished overnight. I noticed Sophia's appearance was getting worse, and she became more and more disheartened. Yet she kept pretending to try hard. She sat up straight in class, but I knew her hands fidgeted in her pockets. She wasn't absorbing any of the lessons. She'd relied on the life swap system for years, reaping rewards without effort. Her mind had long rusted, losing the ability to think for itself. But I was different. The system could only swap the outcome, not my ability to learn or the knowledge I'd gained. So, during the last mock exam before the real test, as I realized I could solve every question, tears streamed down my face. But I still only filled in a few multiple choice answers. I remained at the bottom of the class. Sophia came over to mock me. Penny, even without the life swap system, I still outscore you. So, like I said, you're worthless. She thought no matter how much I tried, I'd never surpass her. This was exactly the outcome I wanted. Sophia and I were sent to the exam hall together, and there I never felt more relaxed, answering questions. I knew how to solve almost everything. It was such a satisfying feeling, something I'd never experienced in an exam before. Afterward, our parents picked us up. They still had some hope for Sophia, but that small hope vanished too. As for me, they had no expectations whatsoever. In their minds, I was a complete failure. They even thought Sophia's recent decline was my fault, that I somehow influenced her. I didn't bother arguing. There was nothing to say. I don't have any feelings for them anymore. Sure, they raised me, but that's about it. So, I'll just make sure they're taken care of in their old age and pay my respects when they're gone. They're not going to get any positive vibes from me. On the day the results came out, they gathered around Sophia, asking about her scores. They'd been holding on to the hope that she just had a few bad tests, thinking she'd bounce back. But when they saw her actual scores, my parents finally gave up on her. They never even asked about my scores, assuming I wouldn't do well. Then, my acceptance letter arrived that day. The big, bold letters on it caught their eyes. I walked right past them and into my room. That's when my parents finally got a clue and came knocking. "Penny, did you get into Tsinghua University? You're fantastic. Our wonderful daughter." They were thrilled but not surprised. They didn't even ask how I managed to do so well, except for Sophia. She ran out from her room and knocked on my door. "Penny, come out. How could you possibly get into Tsinghua?" I opened the door and asked, "Why not?" "You've always done so poorly on exams. With your scores, getting into Tsinghua should be impossible." I smirked. "My regular grades aren't bad. I often help explain stuff to the top student in class and discuss problems with teachers. I just didn't test well, but on every single test, I was just hiding my potential and you fell for it." I leaned in, speaking softly so only she could hear. "Did you think the one ruined by the life-swapping system was me?" "Nope, it was always you. From the moment I found out about her life-swapping system, she was destined to lose. Without it, she wouldn't have ended up here." Sophia went to a mediocre college. I got into Tsinghua along with James. On the first day, he came up to me and confessed, "Penny, I like you. Let's be together." I stepped back and asked, "Are you nuts? Haven't you always liked me?" He was still as cocky as ever, like he was sure I'd say yes. He seemed to forget how he treated me. I spoke coldly. "Didn't you say you like my sister?" "After that, I lost any feelings for you." "Don't worry, I'll stay out of whatever you have with her." Then, I walked away, linking arms with a friend. I couldn't be with someone who had disrespected me no matter how much I once liked him. James chased after me a few more times, but I never saw him. Eventually, I got too busy, and we just lost touch. In the middle of sophomore year, I suddenly got a call from my parents. They said Sophia wasn't into studying anymore, was partying with guys at bars, and ended up pregnant. She chose to drop out and planned to get married. Seeing that news didn't really affect me. As long as I'm doing well, that's what matters. Other people's business isn't my concern.